Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. I'm a buddy Rhett, and we're just writing some code. Man, so we are trying to get this gosh darn application deployed so I can put it in the rear view and move on with my life. But unfortunately, I have found that for me, since probably because I get the least practice with it, but deployment is the most difficult part of software development for me. Now, deployment has always been a bit tricky because, like, what was it? Like in 1994, 1993, 1994, we used to go, I used to love to program computers back then, but like had never even heard of HTML or JavaScript or any of that before. Most of my programming I was doing for like my engineer. I was in engineering school and I was doing it for um, for college, and it was one of two languages, either BASIC, which was like a command line, and I would like draw little graphs or something for a project that I'd be working on at school, or possibly Visual Basic. I would do. I think I was in Visual Basic 4, um, and then so those were like kind of the two, maybe a little of Access. There was this thing called Borland Quattro Pro that was kind of like Excel that I would do some code in there. Um, but the thing about that time is what you would do is you could go to like any, just about any um, convenience store. So that's like a 7-Eleven or a place like that. And they would generally have a wall, maybe 15 by 8 feet. So I don't know, meters, like 5 by 2 meters, um, section on the wall, and they would just have dozens of maybe 100, maybe almost 100 um, CDs hanging in little packets, and it would be like, this is a game, this is a spreadsheet, this is a writing thing, this is like you just grab one of those CDs, and you usually they were $1. You'd spend $1 on it. So, and then you go home and you put it in your computer, a CD on in your computer that you just bought at the convenience store for $1, and then probably 1 out of 3 times it would work. And other times it just was made for like a different version of Windows or a different operating system or something. But sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Probably 1 in 3 times it worked. And if it worked, then you might get a cool little program that you could play around with and have fun with. And then HTML first kind of came into my life, and it was like, man, this is nice because you could write code. Like I would write code, but I could never show it to anybody because I would have to like compile it for their computer and all that. It just wasn't worth it. But once we could do HTML and JavaScript and all that, then you could write code and you could just tell someone to go to your URL to a web page and all that. But so that is why, like, that's why web applications win. That's the only reason. It's because trying to deliver other kinds of programs is hard, right? Like an Android program, like you write it, you build this really cool Android program, and then you find out, oh, well, that won't work on Apple. It won't work on any Android that's older than a certain amount. It won't work on new Android. Like with a HTML and CSS and CS and JavaScript, you just say, go to this website. But unfortunately, it's just not as simple as that. So I can't remember if this one's broken. But basically, yeah, so neither of these can find their um, find it. They can't find the JSON, and it's hard because if you look at in both these remote cases, we don't. I believe the file exists off of voice in this situation and off of Angular Web Speech Analyzer, and I guess we should prove that. But this is something that you just don't do very often, and you always underestimate. how hard it's going to be to 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 figure out. I mean, to deploy. There's always something goes wrong. So it's saying 404, it can't find it. If we click in here, um, we can look at the headers and we can see where it's trying to get it. And this is trying to get it off the root. But I believe it's available off of, if I just grab this last piece, grab too much, copied too much. So weird. I love to say grab. It grabbed it, but then anytime I hear anybody else say it, it annoys me. And that is very strange. Yep.
Hello, everybody. I'm trying to make it.
So there's that. And then I believe this one will be here.
Hello, everybody. I'm trying to
So
make
I
a video
think in
for
both
every.
cases, we are one up. In all cases, we're only one up. So I believe what I want to do is, I was thinking it was that, but I think it's actually what I want to do is this. I think that tells it to go one up and try to get it from there. And since I don't have any deeply nested routes, if I hit back, right, they're always just one route up. I mean, they're all one. So I think this should do it. Um, so this is a little tricky. I think it's a little easier at this point in time to do it off of to update the well, it's faster to update this guy. I like email, but it's easier to update this one. So I guess we'll go with faster. So I believe I have let me go to my packages. Let me close this. Yeah, I have an iBuild. So npm run iBuild. I believe iBuild is for I like email. And then we're going to want to get our FTP up, and hopefully my FTP password. I changed my FTP. My FTP is a bit of a shit show. I change my FTP password from time to time. Like the way DreamHost does it is a bit weird. Because there we go. So I have FileZilla up on a different screen. Because they do it by user, and sometimes I change a user's password, and then it's broken, so then I have to change it again. Is it this one? I like email.com. I think it's this. So I'm gonna hit connect. Okay, did it build it? So it built it out. It built out a new one in here. So I'm going to ilikeemail.com. I think last time I actually wiped out my whole website by accident. Yeah, so how to use it still there. Okay, so now I'm just doing an FT upload to from my local computer to that. Um, so it's telling me like my index page size is the exact same. I'm just saying override if newer. And so everything is the exact same size, or at least the MP4 is the same size. My JS is the same size and didn't change, which is a little nerve-wracking. Hmm. Okay, override. It's kind of weird. Oh, source file. It says my source file of one of my files is unknown. So this is a weird one, right? It's saying that, hey, the source file there, I don't know what the size of it is. And I know I probably want to override it, I hope. Now it's telling me that different transfers have failed. I don't know what is going on. Cancel. So I'm canceling everything. For some reason, I thought I guess my htaccess is in here. Okay, I'm just going to delete everything except for my htaccess file. So theoretically, if I come here and hit reload now, it should be gone. Yeah, not found. Okay, so now I'm going to re-upload everything. Now, what I normally do, okay, why is it saying, this is so weird. Let me hit reload. I'm getting some very strange results on uploading. Yeah, so I don't know what just happened. Maybe I need to refresh this. I think I needed to refresh. I think what happened was I made changes at I opened the FTP viewer up I before it was done generating all the files. And then I told it to upload it, and then it was that's why I had that like I don't know what the size of the source is because the source didn't exist anymore. Oh gosh, what is going on? Well, man, this is just bizarre. All right, so it says it's finding it. Let's see what's going on. Or maybe I have. Let's see, inspect. So I'm turning my this edit tools on, which will disable my cache. Seeing if there's something. Okay, so yes. So my browser had cached my index file, which then caused this it to look the browser to look for some JavaScript files that didn't exist anymore. And that was not promising. Okay, where did it look for it? Okay, did I get the latest code? So we're trying to figure out. I'm always amazed at how much of a pain in the butt this is. I'm looking for the actual spec video. I think it should have. So that is the right one. How to use. And let's ask ChatGPT. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So, video that exists one level up the HTML page is how to use .mp4 indicate up. Yeah, so that's weird. Why is it? I don't understand why it's trying to get the video from the root instead of. Is it that access thing? So like I could just hard code it, right? But I don't want to. maybe it's something in my base. Maybe like that. I think if you look at my HTML, I have this base href. So, okay. Man, this is such a pain. Okay, so my code is like this. Let me hit back, back. So I could like fully qualify it, but then that would break the other one. And then I could add like logic to say, hey, where is it? How to, it's in my app component. All right, so this is what I have. Okay. And the URL is it's trying the video of where is it? Okay, what am I doing wrong here? Am I looking at the right one? No, that's the GitHub. Inspect network. But it does not end in a slash, not a folder. Uh, okay. Slash voice. Option 2, absolute path. Okay. Put the video in the same folder. Well, the problem is that that API is not a folder. Route in Angular. And I serve the application from I would never, ever, ever have predicted this issue. Like this issue is completely like out of left field for me as well. Ah, that explains everything. Vic's never used for acid. Okay, this is new to me. Um, never. use that. Okay, so that's how it used to be. It used to sit in Angular. It's weird. When I build, so it's weird. Okay, so I have a public folder. I'm working with a newer Angular, and I have a public folder, and the file is in it, and the movie file is in it, in public folder. But then it builds to the root, comma, next to the index.html file. New build system directly in the root of the output. And that changes the correct way to reference the files. So this is new to me. Things change all the time. You cannot get used to it. Yes, there used to be an assets folder. Now, is this? But, okay, so, well, no. I don't have the application at the root. Everything is public, output to the root, place URL. The real root of it is voice API. Yep, that's exactly right. No, that is not. No, it's no, it's not. It's not because API is not my only route. Correct path is copy. Man, I would never have guessed this. This is so funny. Voice. Based on the URL, not part of the server's folder structure. Okay, so that works for I like email, but not for GitHub IO. I really, I can't believe we're still effing around with this. Uh, okay. What? No, there is no. There is no voice. Voice in the GitHub. Golly. Sometimes you get into these really weird um, things where I don't, yeah, I just don't know what to think. Now, I said this is exactly the GitHub page is saying the route situation. Okay. Won't work. Solution. That's not going to work. Host the video on a real. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. I guess we could do that and then assume that the GitHub page will go to ilikeemail.com to show it. All right. I almost feel like I need to just be like, okay, so in one case, it's like how to, right? How to use MP4. So,
Hello, everybody. I'm trying to make a video that will basically end.
okay. This is crazy. In one case, see, this should be so simple, right? Like, obviously, this is an edge case that is missed. The URL to the movie is it's so easy to get pissed off about this stuff. Um, like that answer is fine. It's fine for me, but it's not going to be good enough if this comes up at a job. Um, if they're like, oh, this is where we push it to UAT, and this is where we push it to this, and this is where we push it to that. This freaking answer is a stupid answer. This won't work. Um, case and like Angular's supposed to be aimed um, at the enterprise, and enterprises always have a bunch of the same application hosted in different places. Different paths. Here are a few ways to handle that. Okay, so I came at the problem a little differently. Okay. So it's telling me that I should have like different environment variables based on different things. And then we need to pull in the environment and then do that. This, I don't like that at all. I mean, I don't, I like this as like just the kind of thing I like. I like it, but it's probably definitely never gonna, you don't want to do this because what if there's 100 different places? Um, all right, so right now, okay, so basically it looks like we're gonna have to set up environment variables. It's a good thing to learn, but okay, so right now, okay, so build two ways. iBuild and GHDeploy. Let me put a 1 here for my own 2. Okay, is there a way in here for me to specify which URL is based build? Environment prod or additional build environment. So I don't know why. Okay. And then, yeah, I need to do this. Okay, so use the build time flag. You could pass an environment define. Okay, so that's probably what I want to do. I don't think so. I think that this is better for me. Um, now would I call iBuild not production? Why would I? Production equals true. I cannot freaking believe we are still effing around with this. Okay, so I probably want to, I don't know. This, so, okay, so intended tool, um, want production to be equal to false. So it will be easier to debug when issues appear. Let's see what it says about that. Makes proven that production equals false. Both means that Angular won't minify your code. So yeah, I think it'd be easier to set everything to false, but I guess I want to set up a, yeah, like that. Yeah, environment.ibuild.com and then environment.ghdeploy.com and then update the angler.json saying that, hey, if we're in iBuild, then replace with this TypeScript, this environment, and then inside my build scripts, I guess what I'll do is, yeah, I'll say configuration equals iBuild, and then inside of the component. So there's 5 steps, right? And most people don't ever break it down this way, but there's creating 2 new environment files. Then there's 2, updating the Angular JSON with what I want. For each build, telling it which one to replace it to use with it. Then in the build script, telling it which build and then in the component itself, adding a environment variable, and then telling this thing to use the video URL in here, which will come from the iBuild. Okay, so I need to create two new config files. Is it called a config? What's it called? Two new environment files with each of which has a single has two attributes. Semicolon. Update. And then I need to update Angular. Update Angular.json. For both files, semicolon, update package JSON with the flags for each, and then update the component with the environment. But I guess I need to update the component TS to get the path, and then update the component HTML to render correct path. So yeah, so it's weird that we can't just say dot dot, like go up one. I don't know why. I don't understand what the problem is with that, but it looks like it's just a reality. It probably won't be a reality for long. I suspect this is what we would call an edge case. That Yeah, I just don't understand. It did explain it before. It said something about like it's a path on the. I don't understand. Like in one case, it's like, hey, this is a path. Like it's going one up in the actual on the server, whatever the path is on the server. But if you don't have a path, then it tries to get it from the exact same path as the server. So there's like no. I think in one of them it was working for a little bit, and now it quit working. But anyway, so this is what we'll do tomorrow. Um, Again, like this is par for the course. Like when you try to do a deployment, there's always some super obvious thing that was just a standard way of how everything on the web used to work, and now it doesn't work that way anymore. And it's just um, it just always happens. It's very unusual that there's always just some unintended side effect that happens from some configuration or something like that that just causes things to break. And more often than not, they try really hard to not include developers in those sorts of things. They would like you to just focus on development, but sometimes they have to pull you in. And generally, they pull you in the absolute worst circumstances. So it's good to kind of get ahead of these things, but it looks like we are going to need to basically, since we're already doing two different builds for the different things, then set up two different environments and then do lookups. The way the way we're doing it, like, probably would make a lot of sense to just have like a ngIf and then go to ilikeemail.com in one case or go to github.com. But basically, one of the general ideas of this is you want people to be able to run things locally. Um, yeah, fuck, I don't know what to do. Really don't know. Like, it sucks. It sucks that it doesn't work the same way here, right? Like that is like it should work the same way. If this thing knows how to look at localhost 4200, it should know how to look at localhost 4200. Um, but it doesn't, and I don't know. But I've definitely already spent too much time on this, and I want to. Tomorrow, I'm going to end up just doing these steps, um, and then hopefully tomorrow I can put a fork in this, and this project is done. DONE, done. Hopefully, and then we can start setting, like, hopefully next week, on next Saturday I can start working on Say Hello, and next Sunday I can start working on my flashcard project. And those are two projects that I definitely intend to do for at least all of 2026. I'm hoping that by 2026, by January 1, 2027, there's like at least 50 languages that you could say hello in. Um, and then hopefully by 2027, we have a fully working flashcard system in which I can start building out flashcards, and maybe other people will build some too. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.